Knights and knighthood has always been one of the most interesting topics in the Middle Ages, drawing in readers from young to old. So it's not surprising that we have three books here about this warrior class that have just been released. The first is Knight, Noble Warrior of England, 1200 to 1600, by Christopher Gravett. The book is actually a combination of four previously published books, all written by Gravett, which examine knights during the 13th century, 14th century, 15th century, and the Tudor period. Each of these books gives an overview of how knights lived and fought during these centuries, covering topics such as organization, training, armor and weapons, along with the changing concepts of chivalry and how war was waged in an era that saw great changes in military technology and tactics. By putting these four books together, the reader does get to see how the role and place of the knight in medieval society changed over the centuries. But there's also also repetition in this volume too, and some sections basically are being repeated. The second book is Knights in History and Legend, which is a coffee table-sized book that was produced by Constance B. Bouchard, along with more than a dozen other prominent medieval historians. The book covers a number of topics, including becoming a knight, everyday life, tournaments, and the various arms and armor of these warriors. It also covers the history of knights, from the Carolingians to their decline at the end of the Middle Ages, mostly focusing on England and France, but also dealing with knights from other cultures, such as the samurai of Japan. The book also covers how knights have been depicted in modern media, such as films, television, and video games, and how they have left a cultural legacy for contemporary society. While the writing of the book is quite good, it is even better visually, as it is filled with more than 400 color photos and illustrations. It is a beautiful book to have. The third book is called Knight, the Medieval Warrior's Unofficial Manual by Michael Prestwich, who was just appointed an officer of the Order of the British Empire for his work as a medieval historian. Here he has written a kind of tongue-in-cheek guide to becoming a medieval knight, if you were kind of living in the early 15th century. A lot of topics get covered. Again, how one trains to become a knight, what weapons and armor you should have, and what are the best and worst places to fight battles in. He recommends if you go on crusade, do it in Spain, and avoid fighting the Mamluks or the Turks. Prestwich's book has a more of a military focus than the others that reviewed here. You get a lot of information about how to fight in battles and sieges, including many short little stories that illustrate his points. Many readers who have some understanding of medieval warfare will find this book quite funny, as Prestwich delivers a lot of clever little remarks. For example, he dismisses the use of cannons and gunpowder weapons, writing, "Do not worry about these. They are hopeless on the battlefield, and surely will remain so." This book was a real treat to read, and I think many readers will enjoy it greatly.